Welcome to Subramani. So the video just prior to this, I spoke about goal setting, saying how you have to quantify your goal and then prioritize. First write down, quantify and then prioritize. So you realize that in your investing journey, you have to spend an inordinately long time in the goal setting phase. So like Morningstar does, Morningstar has a pyramid saying where you have to spend the maximum amount of time on for your investment journey, and you will realize what is the role of a very good quality investment advisor. So step one is goal setting, and I've done a full video on that, so just prior to this, and I've written a book on that, and I keep talking a lot about goal setting whenever I'm doing a session on investments. So first of all, you set your goal setting, and your goals are set, and then you decide based on your goals how much you save. Now it is normal for people to think that based on your saving you will set your goal, but actually you will set your goal and then you will decide how much to save, and then you find that with all your saving you have to convert that into investment. Apart from an emergency fund that you have to convert that into an investment. So the question is, do you have enough money to achieve all your goals? If the answer is no, if you don't have enough saving, if you're not saving enough to achieve your goals, go back to goal setting and say, okay, these are not my important goals, or I will put a very small amount for this goal. Like I want to buy a bigger car costing say 20 lakhs and I don't want to borrow, but that's not so much of a priority. Right now I'll remove it, I'll be happy with a 8.5 lakh rupee car or something like that, right? You prioritize, you downsize your goals, you do whatever. But these are the two steps where you're going to spend a lot of time: goal setting and seeing whether you have enough money to be able to achieve it. Because there's no point in having a goal and not allocating money for it. I mean, I keep calling money an energy. If you're not putting enough energy into that goal, then it's not your goal. It is just a wish list. It's like me saying, oh, I want to reduce weight, and then when gulab jamun or a rasgulla comes, I eat it, which means it's not my priority. But it is nice to say, oh, I need to reduce weight. It is also nice to say no to gulab jamun, and I don't do that. So my behavior is more important, not what I talk, right? You judge everybody by what they do, not by what they say. You judge governments, you judge people, you judge corporations, you judge friends. Everybody you judge by what they do and not what they say. So a person who is very particular, getting up in the morning, going to the gym and choosing what to eat, eating the right food, you know that person is prioritizing health. Somebody else is not prioritizing health. So sorry for digressing, but it's so important. So you spend a lot of time on goal setting and prioritizing, then you see whether you're saving enough for achieving those goals. After that, you decide your asset allocation. Obviously you have goals which are 3 months away and those which are 30 years away. For the 3 month away goal, you will set up maybe an ultra short bond fund or a bank fixed deposit, or even just a savings bank account. Anything would work, because the yield that you get on it is not going to be very relevant, but the return that you get is going to be very relevant for the 30-year goal. And 30-year money has to be in equity, 3 month money has to be in extremely liquid bank deposit kind of a thing, right? So that is also very so you have set your goals, you have decided how much to save. Based on that, you arrived at your asset allocation. After asset allocation, it is your own behavior which is very important. Though of course there would be somebody who would say own behavior comes first and then only goal setting happens. No, but in my case, at least after these 3 steps are taken, then you see how you will behave when the market is up, when the market is down, right? It is easy to sit and say, oh, in March 2020 I should have bought. That is great in theory. Some of us who had no other great goals to do in life actually bought in March 2020, but for others who had shorter term goals would have panicked in March 2020. See how you will behave. See how you behaved in the past during bad times. Like I can go back to see how did I behave in 1992, how did I behave in maybe in 1999, how did I behave in 2002, right? I can track all that behavior, but that behavior tracking also is very nicely done if you have written it down. If you have not written it down, your mind will tell you, oh, you were great, you did the right thing. False, you may have done the wrong things. But I know in March 2020 I've written it down. I was panicking. I've done videos on that, I've written articles on that, I have written blogs on that saying how you should actually be buying. So your own behavior is going to be extremely important, and after you have prioritized your goals, decide on saving, decide on asset allocation, and then after you have decided on the asset allocation, come to the taxation. Very many investment advisors and DIYs also ignore taxation. That is wrong, because if you don't touch the money for a long period of time, you pay lesser taxes. It's as simple as that. Whether you're in US, India, doesn't matter. Capital gains is normally taxed at a rate lower than the regular rate, simply because you have to be provided for indexation. So if you don't touch your money for 3 years, 10 years, 30 years, whatever, or if you don't touch it for say 30 years and it is accumulating, obviously you will pay much lesser taxes than paying taxes every year and compounding less. People have to understand this tax efficiency. So after doing this asset allocation, seeing how much you're saving, goal setting, seeing how much you're saving, asset allocation, the priorities, everything is over, and then you come to the fund selection. So you realize that when you think that you need an advisor for fund selection, it is right. I'm not saying it is wrong that you use an advisor for fund selection, but if you get a very good quality advisor who can help you right at the goal setting stage, you realize how many important steps are there in the investment pyramid. I'm using this investment pyramid example from Morningstar. Morningstar has an investment pyramid which works very well. I mean, it's easy to talk about each of those things, and you realize that you start here, spend a lot of time, and like a pyramid, your fund selection comes to maybe the last 5 minutes of your decision with your investment consultant. So if you're sitting with an investment consultant, let us assume husband, wife, and the investment consultant are sitting together. You're a very young couple, and so you have a 5-year-old kid or a 7-year-old kid. So really the kid is not going to be involved. The kid understands there is something important going on, and the kid is playing by himself or herself. So you now sit and do all this work. See, realize that the amount of time that you spend with an investment counselor for the first time is going to be huge, humongous, because goal setting, writing down, all that is going to happen that you have to do. The investment advisor is not going to do. He's going to tell you to do it, because only when you do all that can he control a part of your behavior. Like if you say, oh, market is going down, what to do? He can say, look, your daughter is 8 years old, you need this money when she is 21, you've got 13 years to go, don't worry about some temporary setback. However, if you have put your 3-month money in equity, that itself what you and your advisor have done is wrong. So obviously you will panic. But if your money is 13 years away for your child's education, and 30 years away or 25 years away for your retirement or being financially free, fairly obvious that if I am your investment advisor, I'll say, hey, don't panic, right? I told you that the market can go up, market can go down. There is a COVID 2, COVID 3, COVID 4, whatever. But you don't have to worry, you don't have to panic. I'm not asking you to step up the SIP or invest more money. That is the ideal thing to do. But you don't need to. You don't need to buy at every dip and increase your commitment. Don't do anything. But remember that your goals are 13 years away or 22 years away. So don't really bother about it, right? Your ability to say that as an advisor comes only if you have been involved right from the goal setting stage right up to the fund selection stage. Then if you have not been involved, if you have only done investment selection with your client, or your client has only done investment selection with you, obviously there is nothing else to talk about but to say this fund is not doing well, that fund is not doing well. Ultimately you have no clue what the goals are, right? So prioritizing, getting everything right, an advisor, a good quality advisor can play a very important role. However, it's not necessary that you need to go through an advisor for doing all this. You have learned it, you have seen this video, but sit down and do the process. Don't skip the process. Do the process. Whether you do it with an advisor or whether you do it on your own is different, but please do the process. And let me do a plug-in. Buy this book and learn how to do if you don't know. But I've done, there is enough help available to you online also. But yeah, sorry, but I will do this plug. This book is available, and I think Pattu also recommends. He's my co-writer, co-author there. So Get your priorities right, get it, and it's not very difficult. If you need help, this book is available, but I think most of you will be able to do it without help. If you think you can't do it without help, or if you think that your spouse will not listen to you, get an advisor. So if you are a a woman who is trying to convince a husband that you need to do this whole process, show them this video. If you still are not convinced that your spouse will understand all this, get an advisor, right? That's how you should look for whether to hire an advisor. Thank you.